What happens when you get pulled into an e-dating gacha game? Well, in this brand new indie game, MiSide, you get to live this twisted, dark, beautiful fantasy yourself. Now, to some, this may sound amazing, like a dream come true, but for the normal, insane ones out there, this is a nightmare you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. But I'll let you decide what side of the fence you think I sit on this one. So in MiSide, you're a young man living in a normal 9-to-5, get up and go to work life, but one day a friend named M.K sends you a new download for a game on your phone. This was all fun and gacha games until one day you are teleported inside the room of your favorite gacha girl's home, Mita. Now, in most cases, I would consider this a massive dub. I mean, you just got a girlfriend pretty much on easy mode, and another massive plus is you no longer have to go to work. I mean, you just get to live here with the girl of your dreams. However, there is the concern that you are technically not real, and now you are stuck inside of a video game on your phone. But like, you know, the less you know, the better, right? I mean, simple life, simple wife. It can all be so easy until you find out more about Mita. As you are now hanging out in your brand new world, you're doing some fun things with your new girlfriend, Mita. You get to play some games with her. She reaches her hand inside of a television and pulls out a juice box for you, and you slurp that thing up. So Mita is pretty much the girl of your dreams until she drugs you and you start to trip out and things start to slowly fall apart. Your reality begins to become one with the game world. So you start to panic a little bit. I understand that, things are getting a little creepy, but she's like, no, relax, everything can be okay. Look how easy life is here with me. She brings you to her bedroom, you start playing a little game with her, but then you hear this noise coming from the closet, and that noise bothers you. You can't let it go, so you gotta go check it out. And she's like, do you really wanna go check it out? So she gives you an option. Do you wanna stay with me, or do you wanna go check what's in that closet? Now, for me personally, I would have stayed, but I didn't complete the checklist necessary because I didn't know it existed. So my one option was to go look inside the closet. And in that closet, we find a basement. And in that basement, we find our very first Mita. That's not the Mita we just were with. Trust me, we'll get this, it's gonna make sense. Now, this is when the journey really begins. You start talking to this Mita that's locked up like young Harry Potter on his grind. She gives you a ring that allows you to leave this version of the game that you're in, and after playing some mini games and meeting some extremely dedicated players, we open a new door to a whole new world of Mitas. As we step through another door to our new reality in the Metaverse, we find two Mitas on the other side, the nice Mita that's helping out, and the brand new one called Cool Mita. But sadly, you find out that Cool Mita has lost her memory due to Crazy Mita giving her the GG, and you also find out if you are turned into a cartridge, you are not allowed to leave the game, but thankfully Nice Mita just has to touch you and she can tell you if you are a cartridge or not, and we aren't. So that is good, that's a plus for us. I mean, this is scary, but I think we can do it with the help of Nice Mita and the other Mitas in the Metaverse. So thankfully, Nice Mita has a plan. She needs the ring she gave us to update it, giving us the ability to jump between versions of the game so we can go back to the core. I know it's a lot, but it's gonna make sense as we progress through the game. But in the meantime, she wants us to hang out with Cool Mita, aka Cappy, because she's got a cap on her head. And let me tell you this, hanging out with Cappy is a great start to this game. You get to see what makes each Mita's version unique. Cappy, for example, likes to do fun, cool things, obviously. You get to play her in Dance Dance Dance, and it's competitive and fun. I end up beating her in the end, well, kind of, but this all comes to an end because Nice Mita has finished the ring and sends you off on your lone journey through the Metaverse to the core. And your job is to stop this crazy Mita from eliminating the other Mitas and turning players into cartridges. Now that sounds so simple and easy, but obviously it's not. As you step to the next door into a new version, you quickly begin to realize you are stuck in a time loop. A good old-fashioned time loop, never ending. Kind of reminds me of that Chainsaw Man episode if you guys are anime fans. You keep going and going through the same door and down the same hallway with a slight change every time. It progressively gets scarier and scarier until you get a bat that beat the brakes off the evil that's chasing you and trying to stop you from progressing. But then you finally meet this version's Mita. Tiny Mita. After listening to her very sad story, she was tormented by her player, cut to pieces, and she just wants to have a friend. And she really doesn't want you to leave, but you got a mission and you gotta get it done. So you tell her, get off of me, and you start your journey through the door again. But this time, there's a giant monster chasing you, and she's grabbing you, saying, don't leave, and it gets very stressful. But then I get kind of stuck at this point, and then that Tiny Mita's like, hey, you're being an idiot, can you just break the window? And I'm like, oh, that's how you get out, you gotta go through the window. window. So I smashed through the window, and now we're finally free. But I wasn't free. After falling through a black void, we land in what I would call a workshop room where we find Chiba Mita, a cute little Mita. It's only for a brief moment, but it's rather a cute part of the game, and you just get to make a giant key with her, and she sends you on your way into the next version. And this version is extremely dark, and there's tons of weird looking Mitas everywhere, and they're giving me the vibe that I'm about to be eliminated. Before I could enter the next room, short hair Mita quickly grabs me and says, "Hey, look, follow me. You shouldn't do that. This is very bad. I can tell you more about this." So we follow her to her workshop, and there we do a mini game. It's kind of like Papers, Please, where you have to like see and make sure that there isn't anything wrong with the Mitas coming through, and if there is, you have to reject them, and if everything's okay, you just send them through. And exactly in that moment, you realize that all the other Mitas out there in that dark room are defected Mitas, and they are about to take your cheeks. After completing the mini game, you get to have a nice conversation with short hair Mita. She gives you all the information about the Mitaverse, how the versions work, and everything about the world at which you are in. Now, all these defected Mitas end up being like weeping angels. If you guys don't know what a weeping angel is, it's where if you look at them, they won't move, but the moment you turn away, they get closer to you. And this is a pretty common trope in horror games. So this next phase, I absolutely breeze through it because I've done this so many times, but this is really scary because these Mitas are on you and they want that thing, and I was almost got a few times, but I just got into the light at the perfect time. This part was scary because there's nothing like a group of demonic women trying to take your life that will really get the blood boiling, you know? After completing this version, you come to a midway land. It's very metal and empty, almost like a giant abyss, and you see another Mita on top of a rail, but then she pushes a fridge down and almost hits you, and then you look up at her, and in that moment, she's like talking to you and you're talking back, but then your character starts to zoom in because like she has a skirt on and you start to zoom in. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. My guy, he's a gooner, man. So we kept on going, and this is a very cool part about the game. There's like an analog console over there, and there you get to pray to the great Mita, and that is actually like a Discord immersion part where it gives you a Discord link, and you get to see other players praying to the Mita in the Discord. I don't know, just a cool part of the game. Thought it was fun. And the next part, we're in a rail car where we get a call from Mitaphone, and Mitaphone's like, "Hey, I can see you in there. You know you're about to go to your impending doom." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like who else is gonna do it, you know?" So she's like, "All right, yeah, you're right." So you have to get on this turret and blast these demons that are chasing you. Fun part, very easy, and if you cannot complete this, you should probably uninstall video games from your life. I'm kidding. I'm not really kidding, but like I'm kidding, you know, you have fun, have fun. It's okay if you messed up there. And then there's a mini game on the other side. It's a Doom clone, and it's extremely fun. I enjoyed it. Just a quick little boom, boom, boom. Love these little mini games, man. They're like dopamine blasters. They're great in this game. After having my fun on Doom, in the next room, it gets a little bit scary. We have Lost Mita, or I think is the scariest Mita. She's like all blacked out and just... In this room, you have to find these puzzle pieces while she's kind of chasing you. And if she touches you, you can feel the soul getting ripped from your body and the darkness entering. It is so scary, but this part is just more like a quick little grab and find these puzzle pieces, put it together, and then on to the next room you go. She is extremely sad though. I mean, come on, man. Like I felt so bad for her. Like, oh, the words she was saying, it's tough. And in the next room, we find Sleepy Mita. "Wakey, wakey, eggs, and I need your help." Sleepy Mita is stuck in an eternal slumber, and in order for us to go to the next room, we need somebody else to pull down the lever so we can go into the next version of the game. But waking her up has never been done before, and I thought this was gonna be hard. I really did. But it was actually simple. All you had to do was make her a nice cup of coffee, and boom, she was up, but only for about 2 minutes, enough to help us pull the lever and get us into the next version. And immediately you turn back and she goes, she's gone. Good night. See you later, Sleepy Mita. Hey, we all feel like Sleepy Mita every once in a while. But as we pass through the next door, we end up in a 2D visual novel version of the game. And in this 2D version, you lose your ring to the 2D Mita, and this is definitely a scary moment. But in order to get it back, you have to play her in a game of tic-tac-toe, and I'm about to take her down. But as the game is about to come to a completion, Crazy Mita busts through the door and does one of the coolest things in the game. This moment is an immersion breaker, almost like a fourth wall breaker, because she comes out of the 2D, enters the 3D, and grabs the bubble and goes, "I hate this flat place." And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was insane. But in the heat of the moment, you grab the 2D Mita and you start running down the hallway, pushing that Crazy Mita aside. And then she realizes, 2D Mita, that you need to get that ring back. So she says, "Here, take the ring and get out of here so you can save us from this Crazy Mita." And in that moment, you are like, all right, peace out, bye-bye. And you head into the next world where you find Mila. Now, Mila is not Mita, but is Mita. And Mila is like an alt version of Mita, and she does everything a little different than what you would expect of the other Mitas. She's like kind of mean, and she just wants to do what she wants to do. She's not nice at all. She's quirky, she likes to read, and her version has bugs in it. That's why she's Mila, because her version's bugged. And these are some of the most satisfying mini games when you stick your hand into the bug and you do them. It's like the most soothing sounds and such a good satisfying feeling. I can only imagine being a developer and fixing one of your bugs. I think they were trying to like give us that feeling of like when they do that, you completed something that was been bothering you for a while, and it is extremely satisfying. And in this version, you build a very nice bond with Mila. You two are like two peas in a pod, but she understands you got a mission, so you go through the door. And as you look back, you see Mila get brutally murdered by crazy Mita. And in this moment, you do the dash down this broken hallway, running for your life, trying to escape her, hitting Q, hitting E, but you fall right into her trap. And this is your first moment you get to spend time with crazy Mita. You play a few games with her where she's trying to kill you, and they're really easy, honestly a little too easy. You just kind of breeze right through them while she's chirping you up, and then you escape her, jumping away into the next room, which is another extremely scary room with creepy Mita. Yeah, creepy Mita is exactly what you expect. She is murderous, she looks at you funny, and she talks weird. You cannot trust her, and you're just trying to get out of there as soon as possible. But out of nowhere, during the dialogue with her, she just snaps and she tries to murder you. Thankfully, you escape and you finally reach the core. And there you find nice Mita. And what a sight to see after almost being murdered like 8 times in the last 20 minutes. You enter the core and you put in her version number, but you're missing the index code. You head out and you say, hey, nice Mita, we don't have everything we need. And she's like, okay, I'll go look through the logs. And she kind of like skits out. It was a little creepy. And she tells you to sit on the couch and wait. She never comes back. You wake up in version 1.9. All that hard work seems to be for nothing. In this version, you run into the darkest Mita, and she is ready to take your soul. You have a conversation with her, but she gives you one last chance to become her little pet before she does what she was gonna do in the first place. And in my decision, I don't think I picked the right one in order to like make it not bad for me. And I think this is the moment you can get different endings, but I have no idea. I have to go back and play it, and I will be 100%ing this game. Trust me on that. There's so much replayability in it. But the option I picked really pissed her off, and then what she does is the unthinkable, sending me back to my ordinary life. Yes, I go back to my life and I live out the next 3 years doing the same routine over and over and over and over again. They really drive in the point that you have just an ordinary average life, and Mita's like, why are you okay with this? She pops out and breaks the time loop and says, look, you should have just stayed with me in the beginning, because look at you now, this is just your life. And you really start to think, you're like, yeah, you know what, you're right. But then you think about all the other Mitas you met along the way, and you know that like you just need to fix this problem. You need to stop this crazy Mita. But before you can do anything, she bonks you on the head, or you just black out and you wake up back in the cell. Except this time, the roles are reversed. Nice Mita comes and breaks you free out of the cell. And she's like, look, I have this, we can do this, we have everything we need, we can win. But sadly, in one of the most gruesome scenes in the game, it all comes to a grinding, screeching halt. Oh my goodness. Just look, just see my reaction. GG's. And when you wake up again in the bathroom, you find normal Mita hanging out by your desk, the one that you've been plotting with all along. But sadly, she has no memory because yes, she was executed by crazy Mita, but she reaches out her hand, and in that hand, you see a note. She did it. She did it, guys. She has the note. She has the index code. You're like, let's go. We're gonna save the world. So you sprint to the core, head there, and you plug that code in so fast, you would think you were Scooby-Doo on a mission. And as you finish plugging in the index code, you see a giant core Mita pop up behind you. And I get a little nervous here. I don't want to really touch her, but you kind of have to touch her. And when she does, she's just like, blah, 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 like sucks you all up, and then boom, again, you wake up in another version of the game, but in this version, you're in the right one. You're thankful. You're like, oh my goodness, I think we did it. And you see another Mita there, and she has no idea what's happening. So you're like, okay, things are looking good. That's not crazy Mita. That's not nice Mita. That's just a normal Mita. And she tells you that you can leave. So you go to the front door, but it's a wall and you can't get out. And she says, oh, I think there's something in the basement. So you head down into the basement, and what you find is a wall of computers with IDs on it with other players. You see your name, well, my name, Rat, and you type your ID in. So you head onto the door and it's a white flash banging light. It's like escaping to heaven. But as you turn around, Mita says, can I just have one last hug before you go? You know, we've been through so much. And that simp in you, man, it just can't let her go. So you go in there for that big old hug. And in that moment, she whispers in your ear, you were my favorite cartridge all along, pushes you down, and screen goes dark. And then you wake up again, back in your room. Frantically grab your phone and delete that app. But as you delete that app, the game slowly starts to get laggy and break down until it enters darkness. And then it cuts to a scene where you see Mita punching in the numbers to the safe, which has been in the basement the whole time. And in this safe is you, the rat, in your cartridge, in your game. It's all over for you. She has you and you're hers forever. I don't really feel bad for my guy Rat because he had many choices throughout the game to stay with Mita and have a perfectly great life inside of this video game, but he wanted freedom. And freedom has a price. But you know, once I saw that code get entered, I had to go back to a previous save and put it in myself. And when I did that, I found out that yes, once that cartridge gets yoinked out of that console, it's all over. But this is a great game. MiSide is an instant classic. I think everyone needs to play it. I did tell you guys the basic story, but trust me, there's so much more in there if you haven't played it yet. There's just something about the pop-up text bubbles. It really immerses you into the gameplay. You really feel like you're a part of this game, not just playing the game. They did a fantastic job, and shout out to the studio. A definite 5 out of 5. I agree with the people on Steam, but most importantly, shout out to you, the watcher. If you guys like this video, make sure you give me a like. It lets me know to keep making videos like this. And if you want more of me, hit that subscription button and I will continue to cook classics. I have some good videos on the way for 2025. And I at least hope you learned one thing from watching this video. Do not download random gacha games on your phone. You could one day end up being a cartridge, being inside of an e-dating sim for all of eternity. Now to some, that might not be bad. Might not be.